Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video. This is David Pendleton, and now we're going to talk about the Pro Division for the 4th anniversary tournament. This is going to be the back 9. So if you're not a subscriber, please become one. It would be awesome if you did. And if you find this video helpful, please take a moment there to hit the thumbs up button and give it a like. Let's go to hole number 1. All right, hole number 1. Here we go. Left-hand side, 20% elevation. Here, I'm using about 5 bars of top spin combined with a couple bars of side spin to the left. And I got my orange ring right up on the rough line. Now, I was trying to make sure we got to the right yardage mark to make sure that we can continue to use our runner, which has been very good to us to get this drop. The thing that I would suggest here when you go to take this drive is I would add half a bar more of top spin, because for me, I just barely got enough yards to get into runner range. And this fairway does not play fast, so we had plenty of room here to push our drive a little bit harder, but all we need is half a bar more. As you can see here, I'm starting off at the +4, so I'm already at max distance of my runner. But that's okay. That actually makes the adjustment easier when you're at absolute max of your club, because you can just use the max number. Now here, I am playing this shot at 10% elevation. As you can see here, we're dead center again, smacking the pin to start off hole number 1 with an eagle. All right, brings us into hole number 2. Hole number 2, I am not playing my normal funnel shot because, as you can see here, we're going to get tailwind. And sometimes, depending on your headwind strength, headwind, not tailwind, sometimes when you move your target over to the right-hand side and you try to play over those bushes and find that funnel, 4.9 miles per hour, I could have gotten away with it, okay? But if you were to get hit with like a 6.5 mile per hour headwind, every once in a while, that secondary wind push will make you clip that rough. Like your ball just doesn't get over it unless you use a little bit of overpower, but then you're throwing off, your original ball guideline for the funnel. So I'm playing this hole a little bit more straight up, still 20%, but as you can see here, we get close, and unfortunately just a little bit too much speed as we go in the hole and we bounce out. That's happened to me a couple times recently, and that doesn't really happen to me too often, so those are kind of unlucky, but it does show that the spin and everything looked really good. Now, hole number 3. Hole number 3, thank goodness, is much easier on the on the back 9 than it was the front 9. We're going to get tailwind here, which means we can go back to just using, a regular ball like a Kingmaker, and we don't have to use a Berserker. You see here, I use a little bit of the left curl. And our ball slows down right before the rough. So we could take a little bit of top spin off if you wanted to, but I actually used the exact same setup on both of my accounts, and both balls died right there at the top of the fairway. So obviously you want to make sure that you don't use any overpower when it comes to that shot. Shot number 2 is also pretty easy, as we're going to get some more tailwind. 1 bar top spin, full side spin to the left. 10% pull. You saw there a little bit of curl. And we land onto the green this time, making it a very simple putt to pick up an eagle. Okay, that'll bring us on to hole number 4. Hole number 4 we got to talk about for a second, because I was not prepared for this. And what I mean was, like, the headwind 6.1 miles per hour. So I have my sniper and I have my Kingmaker ready, like I normally do on this hole. Or like I have been doing on this hole, I should say. But take a look what happens here when I go to take my shot. I'm already at max distance because of that wind there. Well, it's not because of the wind, but just because of where we're at. We normally been playing back at like the +7 yard mark. So I switched to my quarterback. I switched my quarterback and a Kingmaker. As you can see here, at minimum distance with a Kingmaker, we're like way past the hole, like into the sand and the rough. So then I had to switch to a Navigator ball. Now keep in mind, by doing all that, I just burnt a lot of time. So now I'm backing up to minimum distance here. I'm using 6 bars of backspin with, a little bit more than half a bar of right side spin just to counter the wind. I left my ball guideline through the hole, and that was to account for the headwind push. Let me pick up that perfect ball. So that shot needs a little bit of tweaking, but just make sure that whenever you get to this hole, you're prepared to go with a quarterback and you're prepared to go with a Navigator, and you'll be a lot better shape trying to get that shot lined up. All right. Brings me out here to hole number 5. Hole number 5, I know we used that rock shot on the front, but now we got a totally different wind here. So I just went back with my APOC shot with the full top spin, 3 bars of side spin to the left, full top spin here because of the headwind push. I back up to the +1 yard mark with my blue ring on the rough, and I do that just so that I can pull my elevation at 10% to make my shot as accurate as possible. Here I'm going with full hook, but not full overpower. Great ball to the left was actually still okay. I was a little nervous when that happened, but there was still plenty of room there. I clip the rough and I roll out, and we'll take that shot. I would have liked it to have been a little bit better, but we'll take landing here. What I'm not happy about is how this played. Getting almost direct headwind, so I decided to just go with, the top spin shot with the ball guideline through the hole. Perfect ball. And somehow, I guess, when this thing hits the fringe or the fairway, it just kicks the ball to the left-hand side. That's one that we should have dropped. But take a look at that one again and just make sure that you account for that very odd way the ball bounces. You can almost take a look at it here from this angle, like this sky camera angle. You can see it's a little bumpy. So just make sure that you account for that. So what I would do is I would actually bounce this ball on the green and then go towards the pin instead of using the max topspin approach like I did. So you can learn from my mistake on that one. That's hole number 5. This brings us on to hole number 6. Hole number 6 is always tough. At least we are getting some tailwind here. Now on this drive, kind of like I said on the front 9, we have to be careful how much topspin and how much overpower we use, because we could easily go into the rough on the top hand part, which is better than going into the sand or the rough on the bottom part like my opponent was there if you saw his icon. But here I rolled just a little bit too much. So a little bit too much OP or a little bit too much topspin. We just need to reduce one. But the good news is that when you land there, you're still able to really power your ball up the fairway because we're getting a little bit of tailwind push. So max topspin here, and I'm just trying to drive the ball up as far the fairway as I can, but I got to make sure that no matter what, I land on the fairway. So if you're not good with maxed overpower shots from the rough, just make sure you don't take an unnecessary gamble and hit the ball from rough to rough, because we have got to land on the fairway to try to save our hole. So that puts us at this range to try to chip this thing in. So it's in Endbringer range. I would have rather been in Thorn range, which is why I moved to my Thorn. I like this shot because I get to play it at absolute minimum distance, which again makes adjusting your shot 100% easy because you're just going to use your absolute minimum number. Here I'm using backspin with the ball guideline through the pin. The only thing that I screw up here, which is the most important last step, is I do not hit perfect. I hit great. And as you can see here, because of the great right, I'm going to barely miss to the right. Perfect ball would have been in the hole for an eagle, and that would have been saving that hole, but we didn't. Okay, hole number 7. I'm going to apologize in advance because I know I'm going to take a little bit of heat over it, and I am using a money ball. But here's the thing. On this D. Pendleton account, my bracket is absolutely stacked. I had to have a drop in order to try to make it to the finals, and I'm still not sure if this account's going to make it through to the finals or not. I think I shot a minus 25 or minus 26, and it was already in 30th place when I went to bed last night. So not even a whole day combined being finished. So I did bring out a Win 5 Power 3 ball, and the thing about when you do that, though, is you can use whatever ball you want, but you still have to drop the shot, and thank goodness I did. So, I played this one 10% elevation at medium distance, which is the same thing as 1-for-1 with the wind. So, 3.6 miles an hour, this will be 3.6 rings. I put my red line right up against the rough line there. And now that I look at that, it looks like I actually didn't adjust this shot properly. Looks like I only pulled about 3.2 or 3.3. But we did get this thing in dead center. I'm sure I made lots of mental errors last night as I was up for, I don't remember, like 16, 17, 18 hours as I started playing the back nine. So I was really tired. But we still did good. So, all right, this brings us on to hole number 8. 3 bars of top spin, 2 bars of side spin to the right, 10% elevation, playing at absolute max distance of my club. We do get ourselves a perfect ball, and this one runs really nice on the fairway and gets us in the perfect range that we want for a sniper rough bump. So you can see here we still have plenty of fairway to work with, but we don't need to push this drive any harder because that puts us in great range right here. And I'm going to show you what elevation I'm using. All right, 2.5 bars of back with the ball guide line going through the pin, yellow ring on the rough. Now you're going to see here, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. You're going to see here I'm using minus 15% elevation, and it's 3.7 at mid or 3.3 at minimum. I'm not at minimum and I'm not at mid. I'm somewhere in between. So at minus 15% elevation, I'm going to pull this 3.5 rings. That you see right there, that's 3.5. Boom. Perfect ball. And we just barely missed the left-hand side. So that one is super close too. That's about as close as you can get without dropping it. We just need to add a right bar side spin, and we'd be better off there. But you can see I played at minus 15% between minimum and mid. But, you just have to check your own distance of your club because depending on your drive, you might be at absolute minimum or you might be right at mid. Or you might be like me, somewhere in between. So just make sure you're able to adjust that on the fly. Okay, hole number 9, we're playing with a rock. Quite a bit of curl here. I'm just trying to power this ball up the second fairway. Great shot to the left. Pretty bad great shot, too. So I was surprised that this shot was okay. This is perfect yardage to try to execute the rough bump, finally. So I got my sniper out for the rough bump this time. You always start off with max side spin to the right, and you start to apply your top spin down here. I played this one 10%. What I was not expecting was how true this ball guide line was going to play. You can see here that I'm putting my ball guide line right on the right-hand side, or the left-hand side of the cup, right? It is not in the cup, it's just touching the left edge of the cup. And I was only doing that to account for the crosswind push from left to right. I was thinking that the wind would blow me back towards the hole. But man, if this ball guideline didn't play almost absolutely perfect to what it was, because this ball went exactly where I aimed, so I wish I'd have been aiming dead center. So there it is again. We burnt another edge of the cup. I mean, everything was either in the hole on the back 9 or super close to it. So I hope you find it helpful. Good luck, everybody. Let me know how you do in the comments. Thanks for watching.